Welcome back, children. Today we are starting the next chapter in 11th class biology, that is cell structure and function, chapter 8. As you know, the cell is the structural and functional unit of all organisms. Why are cells called a structural and functional unit? Because the cells are the minimum or lowest level or basic unit that can exist independently and they can perform function on their own. A cell can exist independently and function and perform functions on their own. Hence we can say the cells are the structural and functional unit of all organisms. Now if you consider the nature of the cells, cells are of many kinds, but whatever it was discovered by Anton von Leeuwenhoek, a scientist called Anton von Leeuwenhoek, Anton Leeuwenhoek. Anton von Leeuwenhoek was the first person who observed the live cells. Anton von Leeuwenhoek observed the live or living cell through the microscope he has made. So, Anton von Leeuwenhoek was credited with the discovery of the cell. But even before that, Robert Hooke observed the cell, but he observed the non-living cells. So Anton von Leeuwenhoek credited with the observation and discovery of the living cell. Now, later on, Robert Brown discovered the nucleus. Nucleus is the structural and functional unit of life. Nucleus is the controlling center of the cell, and it was first discovered by Robert Brown. So, cell was first observed by, the non-living cell was observed by Robert Hooke, but living cells were observed by Anton von Leeuwenhoek. Then Robert Brown discovered the nucleus. That was the discovery related nucleus. But later on, with the invention of electron microscope by Johansen, the more details of the cells were made into light or bring to light. So, discovery of electron microscope made the detailed study of the cells, and now we know the ultra detailed study of the cells due to this electron microscope. If you are coming to the overview of the cell, a cell both in plant cell and animal cell, the basic membrane encircling or enclosing the protoplasm is the plasma membrane. Plasma membrane is the outer membrane that encircle the protoplasm, enclose the protoplasm and separate the protoplasm from the environment. It is present in both the plant and animal cells. As we have studied earlier, plasma membrane is called semi-permeable membrane. Semi-permeable. Why they are called semi-permeable membrane? Because they permit certain substances to pass through them into and out of the cell. So plasma membrane is called semi-permeable membrane or selectively permeable membrane. Selectively permeable membrane because they permit or allow the entry and exit of certain molecules, not the molecules of bigger in size, but certain molecules of medium size or smaller in size. They can only enter and exit the cell. That's why the plasma membrane is called selectively or semi-permeable membrane. But in a plant cell, outside of this plasma membrane, there is one cell wall. So the presence of the cell wall makes the cell more rigid and thick and fixed or definite shape. But animal cells do not have the cell wall, hence they are flexible and can change the shape according to the position in the body. But plant cells have a cell wall around this plasma membrane or semi-permeable membrane, which make the plant cell more resistant and more rigid and able to survive even in the harsh conditions. So the cell wall, as you know, is made up of cellulose and hemicellulose and pectin. Plasma membrane is made up of phospholipids, and inside the plasma membrane you can see a protoplasm. Protoplasm is the living matter. Protoplasm is the living substance present in the plasma membrane. It is present in both the living plant cell and animal cell. And this protoplasm consists of the nucleus and the cytoplasm. So what are the two components of the protoplasm? Nucleus plus cytoplasm. What is nucleus? Yes, you have studied it in our classes. A cytoplasm is the semi-fluid substance, whereas nucleus is the controlling center of the cell. Cytoplasm is the semi-fluid substance in which all the organelles are present. The organelles are present in the semi-fluid substance cytoplasm, and there is a centrally occupied nucleus. That nucleus is called the controlling center of the cell. The cytoplasm is jelly-like fluid or semi-fluid in nature, which will contain all the organelles. So what are the various organelles inside of the cell? Mitochondria, ribosomes, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi bodies, all are these organelles. All organelles are membrane bound, covered by one or two membrane, except ribosomes. Ribosomes are non-membranous organelle found in all the types of cells, both prokaryotic as well as eukaryotic cells. So ribosomes are non-membrane bound organelle, only non-membrane bound organelle, which is present both in prokaryotes and eukaryotic cells. All other organelles are membrane bound. Right? Now, so this is an overview. But you must understand the nucleus. Inside the nucleus there is a fluid called nucleoplasm. Nucleoplasm, and inside the nucleoplasm contains nuclear material that is called chromosomes and the nucleolus. So this is an overview of the cell. Plasma membrane is a common membrane enclosing the protoplasm. In addition to plasma membrane, there is a cell wall outside the plant cell. Now, inside the plasma membrane, there is a fluid substance called protoplasm. The protoplasm consists of cytoplasm plus nucleus. Now, what are the parts of the cytoplasm? What is cytoplasm? Cytoplasm is a jelly-like fluid, a semi-fluid in nature, which contains all types of organelles. Now, nucleus is the controlling center of the cell, which in turn contain the what we call the genetic material called chromosomes. That's all about the overview of the cell. Now we are coming to the cell theory. Cell theory. Cell theory was introduced by two scientists. Cell theory was introduced by two scientists. The first scientist in 1838 is a German scientist. He is called Matthias Schleiden. M-A-T-T-H-I-A-S. Matthias Schleiden. S-C-H-L-E-I-D-E-N. Matthias Schleiden said that All plants are made up of cells. All plants are made up of cells. All plants, these botanists, all plants are made up of cells. But in 1839, the very next year, 1839, Theodore Schwann, Theodore, SCHWANN, Theodore Schwann, a British biologist, said that there is a thin membrane surrounding the animal cell. Thin membrane later on we call the plasma membrane. And he also indicated that all organisms are formed, all cells are generated from the pre-existing cells. So, with the combination of these two ideas of German scientist Matthias Schwann and the British scientist Theodore Schwann, we developed cell theory. Now, cell theory says that the body of all plants and animals are made up of cells. Cells are the structural and functional unit of all organisms. Second one, the new cells are arising from the pre-existing cells. New cells are arising from, or new cells arise from pre-existing cells. So these are all about the cell theory. So name two scientists who introduced cell theory, Matthias Schwann and Theodore Schwann. Later on, Rudolf Virchow, RUDOLF, Rudolf VIRCHOW, Rudolf Virchow, it is around 1956, very late, expanded the cell theory, and now cell theory consists of many points. So this is all about the brief introduction about the cell theory. Until now we have studied the definition of cell and who discovered cell. What is an overview of the cell and what are the two aspects of cell theory, who introduced cell theory and when. Now we are coming to the next part of the chapter, prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. Prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. That you will see in the next movie. Thank you.